Hey, Gator Nation. Welcome back to an all new episode of the Respect Our Decision podcast. Guys, as always, I am your boy Hirsch. With me, CJ the man McCann,
What's up, guys?
the hype man Wes,
What's good, Gator Nation?
back
Just
with us this week after missing last week. Of course, we had to record on a different day. Wes was doing some coaching, a little football for his son. Hope everybody is recovering well from the hurricane, man. Hope everyone's life is getting back to normal from Hurricane Milton down there in the Florida area. I know last week was a rough roll for a lot of y'all. This hurricane season ain't been no joke for any of us. I think we've all felt it one way, shape, or form or another. Continued prayers for everybody that are affected by it adversely. Hope everything gets back to normal for you as soon as possible. Guys, as always, if you're checking us out on the YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel and drop a like on the video, guys. We shoot for 100 likes on every video. If you can make that come alive, helps us a tremendous deal. So go ahead, while you hear me saying it, pop that like button real fast with your mouse, on your Xbox controller, on your phone, wherever you're at. Just make it happen for us, man. It helps us so much. We appreciate you each and every time you do that. And you can download this podcast wherever you get your podcast from. Guys, we're going to jump into it, man. We got a lot of different talking points to hit on. Obviously, the Gators go to Knoxville. They take a unneeded L. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to say a tough L. I'm going to say an unneeded L. But before we get to that, we want to talk a little Graham Mertz real quick. Graham Mertz, of course, announced Monday ACL injury. His time with the Florida Gators has come to an end on the playing field. Look, I know some people don't think very much of Graham Mertz. You know, they say you can say he's a game manager. He's this, that, or the other. Graham Mertz played his ass off for the Florida Gators the last year and a half and proved a lot of people that said that he wasn't going to be worth anything. You know, I think he proved them wrong. I think he showed a lot of heart while he was here. He put the team on his back whenever he could. Obviously, you know, never really huge passing numbers. He wasn't out there throwing for 350 yards a game, throwing it all over the yard, but some real memorable moments. Of course, a lot of those last year with Ricky and whatnot, but just a great ambassador of Gator Nation. Always has the right things to say, the right mentality, has been a great leadership figure for DJ Lagway and his young development on the team. So I just want to make sure we take, just a second to give him the flowers that he's earned. I understand we're not building any statues to Graham Mertz. He's not getting a brick outside the stadium. His name's not ever going to be on the wall. But in adverse situations in an offense that probably wasn't catered to him or much of anybody else for that matter, it doesn't seem like most of the time, Graham did what he was supposed to do. CJ, I know you're pretty passionate about this as well, so I'm going to let you go first on this.
Yeah, like I said, if you go to my Twitter, it still says Graham Mertz Stan account because I've been a supporter of Graham since day one when he came in. I've had some criticisms, but I mean I think they've all been fair. But I've never outright said that I don't want Graham playing for this team or anything like that. Graham has come in and really embodied what it means to be a Florida Gator. And a time where we've had a lot of rotation at the quarterback position. We've had some guys make some business decisions at the quarterback position. We had, all these, you go down the list. There are not many bright spots since 2010. And to me, Graham is a bright spot. He's played his ass off. A guy that, gives it his all. You got last year, he broke his collarbone. This year, you tear your ACL on a similar play where you go for a scramble to try to pick up a first down. And I don't think we can say enough about Graham Mertz. At a time where a lot of things have not gone right for the Florida Gators, Graham Mertz has done an exceptional job. I don't think that any of us can deny that Graham came into an impossible situation where you had a lot of the fan base and a lot of the pundits out there that were like, why in the world would you get Graham Mertz? we don't need this guy. We need somebody else. This guy hasn't, ever been anything at Wisconsin. And we heard a lot of the negative feedback, but Graham has come and has excelled. And I think that Graham has really shown what he could be as a quarterback. And I really appreciate him. I really appreciate what he's done for this team. Something he said resonated with me was, he says, this is going to be a place where I can take my family back, to watch a football game in Gainesville and get the same emotion. And because it's just a really special place to me now. And that means a lot for a guy that, grew up in Kansas, played college ball for the first few years of his career at Wisconsin, to have no connections to Gainesville, Florida, and come down here and really be, accepted with open arms and accept us with open arms. I really hate that it ended this way. But, to throw a touchdown pass in your last snap, I don't think it gets any better than that.
Kind of romantic.
It is. How can you not be romantic about football, right?
Wes, what are your thoughts on Graham Mertz's stint with the Florida Gators?
Yeah, I'll keep it short and hopefully impactful. We go back. Let's go from 2024 to 2004. Tim Tebow, Chris Lee, Kyle Trask, Graham Mertz. I know Anthony Richardson. People might want to swap those two, but I think Graham played better here at the University of Florida than Anthony Richardson. He was in this offense. We'll get to that later.
I'm just imagining the comments on that one. I know, and I get it. There's people who are going to say they're going to mistake what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're not saying he's the most talented.
No.
You're not saying he's.
No.
You're not talking about wow factor. You're talking about guys that just went out there and did their job and got it done.
If you put Graham Mertz on that 2012 team with Jeff Driscoll, maybe we don't lose that game to Georgia. I don't know. Maybe things look a little bit different with that elite defense that we had. I don't know. In the 2000 with Treon Harris and those elite defenses, put Graham Mertz there.
And a solid offensive line.
Maybe things are different.
Cutting out on this, Wes.
It was. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. He was good for what we needed. We talked about it last year. He was a game manager, but when we've been hurting so long with quarterbacks. Trash came out of nowhere, but he was serviceable. He didn't turn the ball over a lot. He got us his heart out. We talked about the play against the game before Florida State. Who was it? Missouri. When he got hurt. Even this year, some of his slide, but he would not slide. Even this year, I was like, you just got your collarbone broke last year. Like, please do slide. But he wouldn't slide. He gave his all to this university. He played hard about it last year. I wanted him to come back because you saw that.
Your mic's cutting in and out. You got a short or something. But
I'll look at it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but something's going on. I'll step in while you figure that out. Short and sweet. Graham walked into a lot of impossible, just bad situation. I mean, he was never really, I don't think, supposed to be the quarterback here. There were guys that we wanted before him. He ended up here because every other situation, call it fate. Every other situation that we explored before him didn't work out, including Jaden Rashada. I mean, there's just a lot of different things that led to Graham ending up being the quarterback here. And the guy did what was asked of him. Once again, I don't believe Napier's offense was built for a Graham Mertz and vice versa. He made the most of it. He made plays. Yes, did sometimes does it feel like he was getting rid of the ball a little too fast, maybe checking down a little quick? Yeah, and I think that comes from the rep that he came from with Wisconsin about throwing too many interceptions and all that. And I think he was He was genuinely trying to take care of the ball more. I think that was something, and maybe he overthought it at times. It's understandable. He came with a rep of this is a guy that turns the ball over a lot. He makes bad decisions, yada, yada. Not a lot of that here. I mean, Graham's completion percentage is outstanding over last year, this year. You put them together, the guy's right at 70%, right in there, somewhere in that ballpark. I mean, that's incredible. If you'd have told us a year and a half ago that Graham Mertz would finish his Gator career with 70% completion percentage, everybody would have said, man, that's outstanding. I'll take it. Once again, offensive line has been sketchy. In and out receiver injuries. I think he helped make Ricky Pearsall a first-round pick. He was obviously Ricky's a freak of an athlete, but Graham was out there putting in the work with him. For all accounts that you ever hear, Graham was always working with his receivers, always practicing, always scheming, always going over tape, putting in the work. And now he's been nurturing along DJ Lagway and showing true leadership. The Lagway family loves Graham Mertz. I think that says a lot. And I think you're going to see Graham continue to work with DJ in the next few months as this becomes DJ Lagway's team. That's the kind of character that Graham Mertz has. Now, I'm not going to sit here and we're just not going to have this love fest all, the rest of the show about it. But we did want to give the appreciation to Graham that he deserved. You didn't want the story necessarily to end this way. I know a lot of people thought DJ should already be starting, and we even had a show discussing the pros and cons of that. And it's certain that DJ definitely brings things to the table that Graham Mertz doesn't. And I guarantee you, Graham Mertz will probably be the first one to tell you that. He knows how talented DJ is. Everybody can see it. And then you can see DJ struggle with some things that Graham may not, because he's a true freshman and experience does matter. We saw that come to a head in this game this week between a redshirt freshman quarterback and one that ended up being a true freshman quarterback by the fourth quarter going up against each other. I don't believe anybody saw this game going the way that it did. Now, I think everybody, I know plenty of people are going to say, well, we knew the Gators were going to lose because, this, that, and the other, Billy Napier, blah, blah, blah. And if you picked Billy Napier to be the reason that the Gators lost to Tennessee, I'd have to say that you hit that nail right on the head. Florida's defense, first and foremost, I'm going to go ahead and give the helmet sticker of the game or whatever, kudos you want to give to the defense, because those 11 gentlemen on the field at any given time were playing their butts off. We got some real talent on that side of the ball that's really coming to their own. Sharif Denson, one that really pops out. Obviously he had the interception, played really well. I think both of our corners just played phenomenal. I didn't hear you didn't hear Jason Marshall called or Devin Moore called on. Pup Howard is a stud. I mean, we've got dudes on the defense. We got one individual in the secondary who's regressed a little bit. I might let Wes cover that. That was his boy. But just situational play calling and special teams gaffes, and here we are again. The middle of the season in year 3, and it's the same old things that are costing this team. If you get that field goal going into half, you win this ball game. But instead, you have 12 men on the field and you don't get any points. You are at the 11-yard line with 1 minute and 12 seconds to go and got 0 points. It would have been easier just to run 3 straight dives and kick a field goal. But you somehow messed it up. 4th and 1, you run the whatever that. What now? I'm going to tell you, and I know people that are. We just did our Graham Mertz thing, and a lot of people are going to say, "Well, Billy Napier didn't fumble the ball at the 1 yard line." You are absolutely correct. Players made mistakes. I'm not going to say that they didn't. Do I feel like Graham Mertz is the guy that should be taking that sneak right there? Or Graham Mertz should even be taking the sneak, period, after Montrell ran you all the way down? On first down, I'd have turned and handed to Montrell, but that's me, once again. Or, like on the other fourth down, maybe the 240-pound quarterback, that's a mobile quarterback, should be running the ball in. I've watched the Eagles play for 3 years now, where on a 4th and 1, they do the same thing every single time. Every single team knows it's coming. And we don't do a quarterback sneak unless Graham takes it. Just like, what are we doing? It is a total indictment of what this man has turned this team into, and how too big the situation is for him. I don't have the Rivals record in front of us, but it's abysmal. It's absolutely abysmal what Billy Napier's record is versus Rivals. I don't know what to make of it anymore. Wes, I know you're hot. You didn't get to talk about games last week. You're kind of frozen right now. It's kind of funny. Wes, are you with us? Wes is gone. Wes had his tongue out. He was there he is. Wes, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Can y'all hear me? Am I good?
Yeah,
All
Wes
right.
is back.
Let me try to get this real quick. I'm gonna hit the good points because I know fans say we be too negative sometimes. So I'm gonna hit the good points. First off, defense, hell of a game.
That's
we
why
talk
I
about
led with the defense.
we
I
talk
wanted to
about
make sure.
sometimes like maybe the coaches lost locker room, players quit on the coach. This was no evidence. There was no evidence that that the players have given up on this team. They put forth a great effort. This might have been in Billy's tenure probably our greatest performance on defense. You might go to Utah. The first game that of Billy's career with I think we got the pick at the end, but as far as Montreal, I've been hard on Montreal, so I'm gonna give him his flowers. Montreal played a hell of a ball game, probably his best game this year. Got to give him credit where credit is due. Play a hell of a game. I haven't been on here in a while, but y'all know I've been talking about turnovers. You and CJ know I've been talking about it. We got 2 in the first half. Was excited for the defense for that. We got 2. One was kind of a little fumble that what we didn't really cause. But Denson, you spoke about Denson, and I know he kind of started off slow this year for me. I thought Gates was outplaying him at one point, but Denson is rebounding, looked good. But Jason Marshall is really boosting up his draft rate. Devin Moore played a full game. Was outstanding. The receivers, as usual, DK especially, punt return, did a great job. He was special out there. Who am I missing? What am I missing? O-line was okay. They wasn't a detriment to what we were trying to do. They didn't lose us the game. I don't want to say they were special, but sometimes we can't really get a playoff or do things we want to do. But they created some holes for Montreal to run through. He didn't do it by himself. They gave him some holes to run through, and they were good in that area. Let's get to something. Oh, CJ's boy, and I'm gonna let you have him, CJ. But Robinson was flashing all over the damn place. He popped on my screen over and
Finally
over
found a guy that
and
can
over
play
again.
the spy.
Yes.
Finally
So
found a
CJ,
guy that can spy the quarterback.
yeah, I'm looking at my notes and I wanted to make sure I hit him,
Yeah,
but I'll let you have that, CJ. I'll let you have
the
him.
guy that could play safety in high school would probably be your best bet.
I'll let you have him,
spy.
CJ. But he flashed. He was a guy that flashed for me. Things that I did like. 12 men on the field. This is a recurring theme. Hirsch hit it on it. It seems like when we get in these big ball games, these close games, South Carolina and Utah are the only 2 I can recall off the top of my head. I know y'all get on me. We run this close game, but those are the only 2 I can think. The first year Utah and South Carolina last year where we won a close game. It's like these coaching mistakes happen in these close games that are front and center, and you have to go to the head guy. I mean, you are the head honcho, so all the buck stops with you. And these miscues that cost your team these things. And I would never root for Florida to win. I don't care if it means Billy keeps his job next year. Somewhat, But I would never. I want us to beat Georgia. I want us to beat Florida State. I want us to beat Ole Miss. I want us to beat Texas. That being said, I don't think we can because of what he continues to do. He continues to fail us. We go in this game, and I always say, "Well, I'm not going to get my hopes high," but then they pull me in and get me invested in this game Saturday night, and then I see the same shit over and over and over again that makes me hate the state of the program, the way we organize, especially when these kids are giving their damn heart and soul to beat Tennessee, and you failed them. The defense was outstanding. They played hard, and you failed them. They got you turnovers. We're a team that don't turn over the ball. I don't give DJ. I don't want to. I mean, that was a pick. He didn't see it. He's young. Not really mad at him. Yeah.
A freshman pressed. As soon as he knew the job was his, he pressed.
To combat that, I love that Billy Napier. This is one thing I did like. That the very next time we got the ball was a throw. He said, "Okay, you turned the ball over the last time. Soon, not a run play. I'm gonna give you a throw," and he made a hell of a throw on the next play.
Not just a throw, a forward pass to Trey Wilson.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give Billy credit for saying I trust you, and that's how you instill faith in your guy. I like that part of what Billy did. He let him throw on the very next series we had the ball. So kudos to Billy for that, for saying, "Hey kid, this is your show. Run it. I have confidence you're gonna have to win this game." So I did like that. But the things I didn't like, this is probably the best set of receivers we had in a while. I know we was like, okay, DK, Badger, what are they going to do? But they are good, especially when we lost Jackson. I was like, all right, show me something. Those guys are good. I think one of you guys, I can't remember, like Badger over DK, but it don't really matter. One, two, they show up.
They both have their own.
Yeah.
They both
and they show, yeah. And, oh, shit. Oh, but, and, the fact that we can't get Trey the ball other than doing gimmicky stuff, I would like to see him sometimes do the Kadarius Toney, Percy Harvin, Andre DeBose, maybe line up in the backfield some and get him some touches that way. You got to get your guy more touches other than these plays that the defense knows is coming. I mean, to me, we were so predictable. It's nothing new. We were talking about it earlier on that short third down and 3 or whatever it was. We don't run man beaters. How many times do we see in the NFL or in college when you have two wide receivers or wide receiver tight end, however you want to describe it, and they cross and get the DBs picking each other off? I wouldn't even care if we get an offensive passing screen because the receiver don't know. Just run, don't touch the DB, but just run in his area to slow him down. We don't run any of those things that cause defenses problems and fits, like, oh, I got to go over top. And if he goes over top, then you got the underneath guy, the tight end or the wide receiver, Trey, in that flat at 4 yards because he's going over top because you guys are switching. We don't run any of those things. We see it week in and week out. Whatever game you're watching in college, even in NFL, they all run it. We don't do those things. It's like you guys were talking about earlier. It's like one sided, like nobody. It's like one guy and there's no other reads but just this guy. Deep shots. I hate that we have a quarterback that can throw the ball deep. We've seen it with Aiden Mizell. We've seen it with DK go deep. We've seen it Badger. Why don't we use the strength of the player, which is DJ, and try deep shots with this guy? This guy has an elite arm throwing deep, and we don't threaten the defense ever. I don't care if it doesn't miss. We can get a pass interference. You have to threaten the defense and let them think, okay, we can't sit, we can't squat. Because if I was a corner, which I was, but if I was going in college, I would be squatting on a lot of these routes because I don't think they're going to throw it deep. And they have a QB who has an arm and receivers who have the speed to get behind defenses. Even Badger, we've seen him get deep, and he's not the most speedy guy, but he knows how to run routes where he can get himself open, and he does good with contested catches. So why not do these things to play to the strength of your players? We don't do it. It's sad. It's pathetic when we have the arsenal that we have as far as receivers. With the top three, with Trey and DK and Badger, and then you have Mizell and Tank, these speedy guys. It is crazy that and then I hate that I'm not gonna say nothing about Mullen, but if we had Spurrier, I'll say Spurrier. If Spurrier had these receivers, the magic he would do with these receivers. But it's pathetic, and it's disheartening that we have guys out there that can make plays and we're not allowed to because Billy is so conservative and his offense is so outdated and it's so was it prehistoric? Is that the vocabulary word I want to use is so it's so sad. And but I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna want us to beat Kentucky. I'm gonna want us to beat Georgia in 2 weeks. I'm gonna want us to beat Texas. I can't help it. It's just my fandom, and I just hope that DJ can show some promise and that he loves Gator Nation so much that even if Billy gets fired, that he loves it. He loves the guys. He loves the camaraderie, and he stays here. Sorry, I took so much time, but
You're
it
good.
just
You're
it's
good.
just
Let it out.
sad, man. Yeah.
CJ, you get to follow that up.
Yeah, I mean, like let's say, shout out my man Jade Robinson, played great. Like I said, it was a guy I touted him when he came out of high school as a former safety. He was converted to linebacker. I was like, that'll be great to play the middle of the field. He could be that kind of guy to be a real true coverage linebacker for us, and he's done that. Good job by Denson. Jason Marshall is making his money this year. We're talking about a guy who's allowed no catches, four pass deflections. Nobody's throwing his way. That's what I want out of my cornerback. I don't even have to hear about you. If I don't hear about you for the whole game, you've done your job. Um, Montrell Johnson. I've been a big fan of Montrell. Montrell played like I know Montrell could play. Showed up, ran like a madman. DK, of course, did his thing. DK has been a great receiver for a guy. That a lot of people didn't hype too much because came from Wisconsin, similar to kind of what Graham Mertz's stigma was. But DK has shown that he's a really good hand at receiver. DJ played well, for a true freshman on the road at night in Neyland Stadium. It's a tough environment. He did his best. Heck of a ball game. To get thrust in that position, that's hard. We saw some good stuff. Like I said, the line played well. You saw Caleb Banks play well. Probably had his best game as a player. George Gums, again made some noise. We've talked about Pup Howard.
I forgot
Some
about
good
Plyburn. Say something about Plyburn too.
Jack Pyburn too. Jack Pyburn played a really good football game. Jack Pyburn has kind of taken those last few weeks personally. I think he's played really well. He's played with a lot of aggression, which is what you need to do with that position. I think that it helps us out tremendously when guys do that. They show up and play with a lot of aggression. The problem becomes we had probably the best defensive performance we've had in a long time, and it went to waste. And because of not necessarily the offensive playmakers not doing what they're supposed to do, they did what they were supposed to do to a fault. Um, the play calling was just bad. You can't get in the red zone that many times against a team like Tennessee in the first half and only get 3 points. I mean, at very worst, you got to have 6. You got to have 2 field goals. I don't mind being aggressive on fourth down. I'm all for it, but you got to execute. It's 4th and 1. You've got DJ Lagway back there. He's 6'2", 240 pounds. You've got Tennessee lining up with a 4-man front. You've got 6 guys on the line, plus your running back. Why are we running a jet motion? You outmatched them. The linebackers are playing so far off at that point. They can't stop DJ with a full head of steam to get half a yard. Just let him line up in a quarterback blast and just go right through there. It's easy. I don't think that this is it's overcomplicated for no reason. If you want to send Trey on the motion to see if you can pull a linebacker away, okay. But I just don't feel like that serves a purpose. In my mind, it's like it's 4th and 1, 4th and half a yard. I've got DJ Lagway back here. You're lined up. You are daring me to run at the teeth of this defense. I need half a yard. I'm going to get my half yard with my quarterback. And it's the same thing happens again. Just some really odd stuff. It just didn't make a lot of sense. The special teams mat didn't help us this time around. We had 12 guys on the field. Billy Napier had a timeout with 1:12 left, and we had to waste it because we couldn't get lined up. We couldn't get a play in. So then we ended up losing the timeout that we could have taken to at least, not taking the runoff to kick another field goal. 1:12, and you're down there, and you get nothing. You don't even go forward. I mean, and then it gets worse in overtime. You get the ball at the 25, and we end up having to, I think, kick from the 36 or something like that to kick a field goal. Just dumb stuff. I mean, you almost, like her said, you almost wish they just run 3 dives and then just kick the field goal because the offense is so pitiful. We talked about the 3rd and 3 play with DJ Lagway where it was designed for only Elijah Badger to catch the football. You had a bunch set to the left. You didn't even try to make the running back a possible check down. Luke Del Rio said this a long time ago on his podcast. This was years ago, and I've always taken this to heart. A play call is only as good as its check down. If you eliminate the check down, what are we doing? I understand some people will argue, well, you could try it if you're going to go for it on 4th down. I guess if it's 3rd and 1, maybe, but it's 3rd and 3. Get your 3 damn yards and get the 1st down, and then worry about that other stuff later. We wasted great punt returns. We wasted great field position. We wasted turnovers. Just a lot of wasted stuff. That's just what this game felt like, a waste. And it didn't prove to me anything about this Florida team to say, wow, they're really, really, really good, and we've just been wrong. I don't know what's up with Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee was as good as we thought they were going in offensively. They've got Nico, and Nico still looks like he needs some time to learn. He had a couple of throws that were way over receivers' heads that were wide open going down the middle of the field. And just it didn't. He looks like the kind of kid that's got to learn some more. We did pretty well against Tennessee's run until the end of the game, where we were just gassed. And that was big because you knew they were going to want to run the football. There was just a lot of weird stuff, a lot of bad stuff. This is a game that you look at in year 1 and you say, okay, we showed a lot of fight. We're going in the right direction. Let him get his guys here, and it works. We're in year 3. These are games that you have this much advantage over at this point. You get in the red zone 4 times against the number 8 team in the country on the road, and you have nothing to show for it at halftime but 3 points in year 3. I'm done. There's no coming back from this to me. This is it. We can talk about the Miami game. We can talk about the A&M game. This is the nail in the coffin. This is purely saying everything went right for the head coach except for himself. How do you can't blame it on the defense doing boneheaded stuff. You can't blame it on not having playmakers. You can't blame it on anything other than I effed up as the coach. And if you're doing that in year 3, like we've seen against Arkansas, and we saw against Florida State, and we saw against Miami, and we saw against Missouri, and we've seen against Georgia, and we've seen against Kentucky, and da-da-da-da-da. Enough is enough.
Insanity.
We're banging our head against the damn wall. I'm sorry. This man is not a good coach. I defended him for a long time. But this is, to me, this is the straw that broke the camel's back. This game was fully in our grasp to win. And you can buy some faith there, Billy. You had a chance. Like we said all year, you've got a whole season. You've got a big bucket of trust, and you poured it all out. You've got a whole season to add some back in there, drop at a time, and you're just like pouring it. It's like the bucket's still turned over, and you're just kind of pouring it on the bottom of the bucket. You don't even know how the damn bucket works. The instructions are on the bottom.
It's a hole in that bucket.
It's just I'm just fed up. I'm just fed up. I've had enough.
It's a hole in the bucket.
Hole in Billy's head.
I'm not gonna say much more because obviously I said a lot at the beginning. And I know there's going to be those people that comment, well, the players have a role in it too. And you're absolutely right. Once again,
they play their ass off. Though.
But tell me, outside of Mertz's fumble and DJ's interception, where the players cost that game more than the coach did. You can't. The coach is not the coach is. I'm not going to put it all on Billy. At the end of the day, it all falls on him because he's the head man. But even like I heard Shane Matthews talk about it on his podcast, where the guys up in the box with the binoculars watching, counting the guys on the field, or who's doing that? Are they all just talking to each other and figuring that it's all just clockwork? Oh, we practiced it. They'll be good. I mean, where's the accountability? Where's any of it? And God Almighty, where's the fire? We've seen him get fired up one time in the game over a penalty that he got penalized himself on. Congratulations. Where is your fire? All we heard about was Billy takes Tennessee personally. That's a personal rivalry for him. Billy takes this personal. When? When do you try to put your foot on somebody's throat when they're down? You don't. I tweeted it as soon as I said, we went into half 3-0. I said, and the bad thing is, second half Billy is worse than first half Billy. Because everything you've seen proves that. When does Billy come out at the half and just found, like, we talk about West picking Georgia, and I'm going to segue this real just funny. West picks Georgia, and we'll be in our group chat, and West will be like, oh, look, they're struggling. And me and CJ always say the same thing. Georgia will go into the half. They will make adjustments, and Kirby will have some fiery ass, speech where he puts his foot up all their butt, and they come out and they do what they need to do. Tell me when Florida does that. Tell me when Florida comes out of the half and you're like, oh, they mean business. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it at all. I used to see Mullen make adjustments on offense. Of course, Grantham just ate sandwiches on the sideline, and he didn't do anything.
We haven't seen that since I know Dan Quinn and Muschamp used to do it in college.
The damn defense gave up 17 points in a night game in Neyland in regulation.
And we talk about the Swamp being loud and crazy.
That damn game was loud. You could tell it on TV. Like, you could tell. Like, it was loud. That's 101,000 people that hate Florida with every ounce of their being. They're tired of losing to Florida. And you had each and every one of them thinking, oh, hell, we're about to do it again.
They were thinking, here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go again. Especially when that fumble and that pick, they were like, shh, here we go again.
And to quote, I believe, Dennis Green, we let them off the hook.
We had them.
We knew who they were, and we let them off the hook.
If you want to crown their ass, go ahead and crown them. We let them off the hook.
Like, come on, guys. I can't blame my defense that's been much maligned. After A&M, we were ready to kick all those jokers out the building.
We got on our hands and knees and begged this team to hold somebody.
Guess what? Those guys went full Jordan and took that thing personally and went out there and got better at their craft. Billy Napier's in year 3 and still can't not take a penalty on special teams.
We talked about the talent on defense and how much talent we had and the guys coming back and how, like, the 4 stars and the 5 stars here and there and guys coming back with experience as playing as true freshmen, and they have gotten better as the season is going on. We talked about how
the problem is, going back to the coaching staff, is you treated the first 3 games like they were preseason.
Yeah.
You did. You rotated your offensive line. You rotated your defense ad nauseum. You're like, well, the first 3 games don't matter. I mean, and maybe in some closed room in the Hebner Center, they were like, you know what? The first 3 games really don't matter. I'm not worried about it.
Not with this schedule.
You would think. You would absolutely think, but here we are. Here we are playing arguably, I'd say, our best game. And you can debate that. I mean, defensively, it absolutely was the best game. The game plan you had to confuse and keep Nico contained. Now, granted, the kid missed some shots. He had some deep shots. He missed. He went Joe Milton. I mean,
I was about to say that. Yeah.
He went full Joe Milton on some throws.
He's worse than Milton.
he's a redshirt freshman. Joe Milton was like in his 17th year in college. I ain't trying to compare those two. And Milton was in the swamp, but Milton did it all the time. But Nico's got the talent. He's just needs some seasoning. And I don't think Hype will trust him all the way yet. And that's fine. It's whatever. So now you've got to think Kentucky comes to the swamp, and this is the DJ Lagway team. And we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about this. This is the battle of mid. I don't care what it is. Kentucky just lost to Vandy. We don't know who we are half the time. Now, I know if you're like me, you're like Wes, even CJ here, and I mean all of us, you're excited to see what DJ Lagway will do, knowing this is his team. He's not looking over his shoulder. As a matter of fact, Billy said something Warren. I can't even remember the kid's name. The walk-on is the backup. I don't know what happened to Clay Millen. Maybe he walked back to Colorado. I don't know what happened to the kid. But right now, there's a walk-on backing him up. So if you go back to AR's season, he treated AR with kid, like in bubble wrap because there wasn't any depth. Are we going to see that? Or are you just going to let the kid go out and play and say, hey, man, there ain't nothing to lose now. We're 3-3. You go Dan Fouts in the water boy. Don't hold anything back now. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But if I know Napier, he's going to be like, well, we don't want to damage the kid's psyche. You don't want to put too much on him too fast. And, look, if it's me and it's not, I go out there and just let the kid do the thing. Give him the playbook. It's clear he can make any throw out there. Is he going to make mistakes? Of course he's going to make mistakes. But would you rather just let the kid do the damn thing, excite the fan base a little bit? Are you going to try to play these close 17-13 games where you make 3-4 mistakes that cost us the game? I don't know. CJ, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, like they said, battle of the mid. I think that's kind of what it is. Kentucky hasn't looked really sharp against anybody. They played Georgia close, and
they beat Ole Miss. They beat Lane.
They beat Ole Miss. Okay, but it just I don't know. I still think that we're fighting an uphill battle. We talk about like Billy taking the Tennessee game personally, whatever. Mark Stoops actually does take the Kentucky-Florida game personally. For whatever reason, this is the game where he puts everything he's got into it because this is pretty much what's kept him his job, is not losing 45 straight times to Florida. So, now he's working on his own winning streak. He's trying to beat us for the fourth time in a row. Kentucky getting ready to beat Florida for the fourth time in a row. If I told you that in 2010, you would smack me upside the head. But this is the reality. This is where we're at. I feel like this is a game that's winnable. But I mean, Billy Napier's your coach, so whatever. I thought that we should have beat Kentucky last year. I thought we should have beat them the year before, and here we are. We're staring down the barrel of this gun again, where Kentucky is coming in here, and I don't feel great about it. Does he take the training wheels off of DJ Lagway? Maybe. I don't know. Nothing in the past has shown me that Billy Napier will do it because he hasn't done it thus far. It's just, I know this sounds really negative and really harsh, but that's just the reality of the program where we're at right now. Great. This is based on the schedule, your last opportunity for a win until you play Florida State at the end of the year. All signs show that you're not going to beat Georgia, you're not beating Texas, you're not beating LSU, and you're not beating Ole Miss. So, if you're wanting to see Florida win, this is one of the last opportunities it feels like we're going to have at that. They're going to be recognizing the 1984 SEC championship team at this game, so that's going to be awesome. So if you guys are there for that, that's cool. But
don't embarrass them.
The SEC has already embarrassed them enough.
No, I'm talking about. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Put the damn number back on the wall. Get some balls. We're letting Georgia parade around with the national title from 1942, where everybody was fighting in World War II. But I digress. It's gonna be a game where I think again you can win if the defense shows up and plays like it's played the last couple of weeks. You stand a really good chance against Kentucky. But offensively, you're gonna have to do something. And I don't mean score 20 points and sit on the ball for the rest of the game. You need to get out there and take this thing personally. You need to actually play this football game. I just don't know if we're going to. All signs say, based on the rosters, based on where the two teams are at, Florida should win this game. You're at home. But here's Kentucky. I think they're a 1 or a 2 point favorite over us now. We're the home dog again. We've been the home underdog for almost every game this season. I think, yeah, every game except for Sanford. I don't even know if there was a line on Sanford.
And you
That's
get
not
three
good.
points for being home. They give you 3 points for being at
That's
home.
like that's
So we're
that's
Swamp
not
5
should be
points.
worth more than that.
Yeah.
it's
So we're
not.
down 5 points.
So that's where we're at. Where you're a home dog against teams that you shouldn't be. Um, it's just not good. I hope we win. Like I said, I don't. It's hard for me to want Florida to lose. I wouldn't. I would. I don't think it's in me. Maybe it depends on how bad things got. But right now, it's. I still would like to beat Kentucky. I'm tired of losing to Kentucky. It goes against everything that I believe in to lose to Kentucky. So good luck to the guys. Defense, do your thing against this week. Maybe we hit on a couple of those 4th-and-1 jet sweeps this time around, and maybe we only put 11 guys on the field to kick a field goal.
Wes, what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah. Do we have more talent than Kentucky? Hell yeah. Are we better
I'd
coached?
venture to say that Lagway's more talented than than Brock Vandergriff already looks. He's been in the college 4 years.
Are we better coached than Kentucky? Hell no.
Uh, the
And to CJ's point, even if we go up 17-0, I'll be scared. If it's 17-10 or if it's 10-3, I don't trust Napier in close games. Neither should you as Gator fans. Uh, do I hope we win? Of course. Like I said earlier, I don't ever want us to lose. I want us to, even at the detriment of Napier coming back next year and me thinking he is inept at being a head coach at the University of Florida and we can do a whole lot better. I would want Napier to win every game, win out, beat Georgia, beat Texas, Ole Miss, LSU, Florida State. I want him to win every game, but because of him, we won't be able to do it because it's in game coaching, whether it's time management, whether it's being a true CEO, and definitely the most important part of it, if it's in being the offensive coordinator. He's not a good offensive coordinator at all, and he's the reason this team is held back because we've seen the receivers come through. We've seen the backs that we have. The offensive line has gotten better. All we wanted was all I wanted, and I talked about the offensive line doesn't have to be the best offensive line in the SEC. They don't have to be top three. I just wanted them average. Average. Okay, everybody gives up a sack every now and then. Just don't hurt the team. Don't have every time Mertz drop back or DJ drops back, somebody's always in their face. They have given our quarterbacks time to do things, but the routes on air are not there. We saw Montreal against a good to great Tennessee defense have his best game of the year. So I can't put everything on the offensive line anymore. I can't. We definitely know we have weapons on the outside. We have weapons backing those weapons up on the outside. We have a running back behind Montreal. We have an adequate game manager in Graham Mertz. We have a superstar in the making, DJ Lagway. So who does that fall on? It falls on you. It falls on Billy Napier. So I don't trust Billy. I think we can win. I think we should win. We're at home. It's a night game. We recognizing the 84 team, as CJ says, it's going to be loud. The fans are still showing up. So they're going to be loud. I don't think Stockton is that good at all. I don't think Kentucky is that good at all. But I think Bob Stoops is. I think he'll have his guys ready to play. And right now, he wants to run that streak up, as CJ talked about. So I'm going to pick us to win. Do I have confidence in that? Hell no.
just a couple of things. Y'all guys pretty much said everything. Obviously, Montreal's not going to be playing in this game, So you're going to be short in the running back room. Billy said that Webb was able to do some things at practice today. I don't know what that means. I would probably not anticipate Webb playing. If he does, not much. I'm assuming this is a Ball Jackson backfield, which, hey, I'm okay with that. I think both those guys can do anything we need them to do. I really like Ball's young and has one of the best jump cuts for a guy at 235 pounds I've seen in a long time. And as I was told by somebody else, Jackson runs like a walk-on. like he's fighting for playing time. That man runs with reckless abandon. So I like that. I mean, that's great. Here's what I do know about Stoops. He knows how to scheme Billy Napier. We usually play him first, and whatever Stoops does to us, Kirby takes it and uses it as his defensive blueprint when they play us later in the year. Because Stoops can scheme up.
I can
Billy,
too. That's
well,
true.
most people do. But now Kentucky has a very solid defense. So he's going to look for ways to confuse DJ each and every way possible. So therein again lies, will Billy simplify the playbook, make it real simple, stupid? Are we going to run 15 screenplays? I wouldn't bet against it. I mean, it just
take some damn shots, man. Just
and that's my one thing. The kid can throw it 70 yards. Let him throw a couple 70 yards just to back the safeties up a little bit. Tennessee played that whole game with their safeties 8 to 9 yards off the ball because they knew we weren't throwing the ball deep. We weren't taking any shots. Why did they have to worry about it? They could man us up and keep their safeties underneath and keep everything in front of them. So all those little screen plays and stuff we run, we're all in front of them. No big gains. I mean, it's simple, stupid. Because if you're not taking that shot, if you're not taking Mizell or Tank Hawkins or one of these guys that's that's got that top end speed and trying to pop the top off the defense, why do they care? They don't have to respect you. So I would really like to see Billy in the first series, but I know he won't because it's scripted, and I seriously doubt it. Maybe in the second series we'll get one. Take that deep shot and back the defense up a little bit. But even then, I think this is going to be one of those 17-13 kind of games. I really do. I think the Swamp wins it for the Gators. I do absolutely think they win this ball game on a talent aspect, and Kentucky just hasn't looked that great. If this game was at Kentucky, I'd flip a coin. Because Kroger Field gives us trouble. But also, Ray Davis isn't in that backfield, but who knows? Maybe we'll make the next Ray Davis out of it. I don't expect it because the defense has played really well. Tennessee's a good running football team, and we didn't give them a lot of that until the defense had gotten just whipped in the fourth quarter because, we were doing the same old. Hopefully we pull out a W. Then we get the bye, and then we hit the stretch of death. And it'll be what it'll be. So we will cover it all again next week, and then we'll discuss a little bye action. Oh, easy. Pause. All right. Well, that being said, let's get into some pick ems, fellas. Man, you two guys had a good week last week. Both CJ and Wes went 8-2 last week. Hirsch took a couple chances, and it brought me to 6-4 on the week. I had Colorado pick to win. They lost by 3. And CJ picked Oregon. He was the only one that picked Oregon. Good pick by CJ. So that brings us on the year. CJ takes the lead, 42 and 28, excuse me. I'm 41-29, and Wes is 40-30. Man, this thing tightened up quick.
Tight, baby, tight.
This is the SEC East of
This thing's tighter than Nuns undies.
Oh my God. All right. So let's get right to it. ACC country. Miami at Louisville. CJ, you're in the lead. You get the first pick.
I'll take the U.
Oh, it's so bad.
I don't want to take the U. I'd like to see Louisville pull it off. Miami should be 4-2 right now, but here we are.
The Zebras got them. Wes?
That's right.
Yeah, I got a lot of away teams this week, and I'm picking Miami as well.
I know Jeff Brom was on not our personally, but I know he was being discussed in circles as a possibility for the Gators' next coach. And I hope after what he's shown this year that talk came to an abrupt end, because I haven't been impressed at all with the way that they've performed this year. Give me the U as well. Hate saying it, but I think they pull that one out pretty. I think they probably end up bombing Louisville. That being said, it'll probably be a tight game. Nebraska travels to Indiana to take on the SIG. Another guy that's found his name circulating in Gator coaching hot boards across the country. Not mine, not CJ's. Wes probably don't even know who SIG is.
I know he is. I don't want him.
63 years old. He's fiery. I know a lot of people like him. I just don't think he should be the guy that Florida goes after if we're going for a head coach. But anyway, I digress. Indiana's undefeated. Nebraska got a pretty solid team. Wes, who you taking?
I'm going Nebraska. This is one of what I would say that I was picking a lot of away teams. This is one I picked Nebraska. I'm going to go with Rule.
CJ.
Yeah, this is one of those games that if Sig is looking to really put his name on some coaching charts, he's got about 3 games on the schedule that he needs to really show something. I think he beats Nebraska. I'm going to take the Hoosiers in this one. It could go either way, but I feel like Indiana at home, they're not playing in Big Red country, so I'll take the Hoosiers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Nebraska. I think Indiana came off that emotional win last week. Man, that was a tight one. That was an overtime game last week, wasn't it? It was like 43-40 or something like that. Whatever it was, give me the Fighting Raiolas, the fried mayonnaise balls of Nebraska. All right, time for a gold matchup. Notre Dame travels to Atlanta to take on the Yellow Jackets. I believe this game is at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, though, not at Bobby Dodd. I believe that's one of these games that Tech has to play at Mercedes-Benz. I could be wrong about that. Wes, who you taking?
I'm going to go with Notre Dame. I like G-Tech, but I'm Notre Dame.
CJ?
I really wish I could pick Georgia Tech here, but I got to go with Notre Dame. Notre Dame has looked like they've been on a mission since they lost to Northern Illinois. They've done a good job the last few weeks, so I'm taking the Domers.
Yeah, I am too, and I hate it. I'd really rather take Georgia Tech, but I don't think they can hang with them. I don't think they can score enough points on Freeman and them's defense. All right. Michigan travels to undefeated Illinois. Man, what is going on? Well, we've got a lot of Big Ten teams undefeated right now. It's weird. And Michigan's been hot and cold. CJ, who you taking in this one?
Man,
got to make a choice.
this is one that I'm not super jazzed of either way. You know what? I'll take the Illini. Michigan just I don't think they've got their quarterback situation figured out. I don't think Donovan Edwards has been the guy that they thought he would be. If they were playing in the big house, I'd feel a little different. But playing in Champaign, I'll take the Illini.
Wes,
Picking the away team again. I'm with Michigan, man.
Yeah, I'm taking Big Blue in this one. I just think there's still too much talent in Michigan not to win this game. They've lost some close ones. I think they take this one. All right. This game might get tricky. LSU travels to Arkansas to take on the Hogs. Wes?
Another away team going to LSU.
LSU off the big win versus Lane there in night game in Death Valley. CJ?
Yeah, I think LSU's starting to get it together. We talked about their early season struggles. They lost to USC, and it's just kind of Brian Kelly's MO at this point. I think they beat the Hogs. I think the Hogs are much better than I think any of us expected them to be. But I do like Garrett Nussmeier. I think LSU wins this one.
Yeah, I'm going to take LSU, but this is going to be another one of those ugly games. This is going to be like a 23-19, bunch of guys getting hurt. No fake injuries probably in this one. Lane took that back to the SIP. But man, I'm telling you now, LSU's offensive line is a sight to behold. They got 2 top 10 offensive tackles in that joker, and boy, I'm not looking forward to seeing us try to get across those boys when they come to town. All right, Captain Mullet, Oklahoma State travels to BYU to take on the Mormons of BYU. CJ, who we taking?
I'm taking the Mormons. Oklahoma State has been disappointing, and BYU looks like a team that has positioned themselves in that upper echelon spot in the Big 12 with Iowa State.
They're gonna sneak right on into that daggone playoff. You can count on it. Wes?
Yeah, I'm gonna take you to Sue's sister school.
Oh my God, I was about to say, gotta be careful. Utah sister.
Taking whose sister?
Out there, you gotta be careful saying all that, buddy. Sister wives, they got a bunch of them.
Whoa, look out now.
Yeah, give me BYU. BYU's gonna just be. They're going to sneak right into that playoff. I'm almost positive. All right. This game right here ought to be pretty solid, man. I feel really heartbroken for South Carolina. They had some real opportunities to win that game. Shane Beamer strikes again. If it wasn't for Billy Napier, Shane Beamer might be the most boneheaded coach sometimes in the SEC. South Carolina travels to Oklahoma to take on Oklahoma. CJ, who we taking?
You know who I'm taking. It's Cox, baby. I'm taking all the Cox all the way down. I don't care how soon they're coming. I'm
with the Cox out.
That's right. We're going with the Cox.
South Carolina been hanging out with the Panthers. Keep pounding.
That's right. That's right. I think they show up. I think they play hard.
and maintain.
I think we're going to have to call some doctors because it's going to last for longer than 4 hours. I think that's what we're going to need.
They go a whole God. 60 minutes. They go a whole 60 minutes this time.
That's right, the 60-minute man, baby.
October, baby.
It's Cocktober. We're in the middle of Cocktober.
West, who are you taking in this one?
I'm going with USC.
USC? Oh, that's right.
USC of the South.
Confused me.
Yeah.
Come on, Hirsch. South Carolina was a state before USC was a school.
My bad. It confuses me when you say that. You have to put the lowercase e behind it, or I get confused. I'm just a simple guy. I live on a plantation. Man, this is tough, man. You got to worry about emotional letdown after that game, but I'm going to tell you right now, that young man at quarterback for South Carolina impresses the hell out of me.
That D end they got in the portal.
Both of them. Dylan Stewart and the other.
On the man. I was like, whoa, you dude's different.
Yeah. Sellers, though, all the talk about the redshirt freshman in the SEC and Nico, Sellers could be the better quarterback before it's all said and done. I really think that young man is special.
I saw him in high school. He need to put the goggles back on though.
That might be the problem. No, give me South Carolina. But man, that Venables might. If he loses this game, it could get real ugly for him quick out there.
It's going to get rough in Oklahoma if he loses.
Especially after that Texas whooping. All right. Because we have to have this in here for our funsies. FSU at 1-5 travels to take on Duke. That's 5-1. Wes?
Who's man?
Huh?
The Blue Devils.
Oh. Taking the
Azul
Duke.
Diablos.
Fresh off of getting the Boozer twins. They're going to be celebrating up there in Durham. PJ?
No, it's Brocktober. We're in the middle of Brocktober, Brock Glenn. I'm taking Florida State off a bye week. They've never lost to Duke before. They ain't going to start this weekend.
Yeah, I think
FSU. Lost last year.
I think FSU is actually going to win this one. Like CJ said, they quit playing music at practice. They put the squirt guns away.
Who's playing at quarterback?
Brock Glenn.
Brock Glenn.
DJU's out for the year. He can't play again. He's
DJU got vagina finger of drinking all them push pops or whatever the hell those.
He didn't want to play Clemson. I'm gonna still stay with Duke.
All right. Big boy football. Tennessee had it easy last week. Now they get Bama at home. So, CJ, who we taking in this one? We thinking Tennessee escapes another one?
I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide.
My God. That was awfully sure of yourself.
I'm taking the Tide. Tennessee showed me that they are not a super great team when they played us. If we still had a chance to win that thing after doing nothing in the red zone, I think Alabama can handle them.
Wes?
Bama.
Yeah, Alabama looked very shaky last week, but I'm going to tell you right now, DeBoer is still a capable head coach, and that's all it's going to take to beat that Tennessee. Some talent and a capable coach. I think Milroe will have a really good game up there, and Tennessee will come flying back down to earth off their amazing high of beating the lowly Gators in Knoxville. All right. Now we're really putting West to the test.
No test here.
UGA travels to Austin. Game of the week. UGA versus Texas. Welcome to the SEC, Texas. Who we taking, West?
I'm going to Bulldogs.
Oh, my God.
Taking the Dogs.
Kirby, baby. Kirby pushing players. Kirby pushing players from another team, not getting fined, not getting suspended, none of that. Bro. He can push players and get away with it. Kirby. If he can do all that shit, Kirby.
CJ.
This is tough because I know how Kirby is, and Wes is right.
Have to go to CJ,
but they got to go to Austin. They got to play the Longhorns. Longhorns got to tune up against Oklahoma because basically what it was. I'm going to take the Horns. I think that Texas wins this one. There's just too many questions around UGA right now. They have not played at the level that I think that UGA can play.
As always, gentlemen.
Hirsch got to take the Dogs.
I'm 2 weeks out from the wedding. I've read the fine print. I know I'm contractually obligated once again to pick UGA. UGA is going to load up about 30, 40 Hellcats.
They're going to ride west.
They're going to race right into town.
No plane.
They're going to blow through all the tolls.
No planes, no buses.
Georgia State
probably going to run Bevo right off the road. Probably hit Bevo. Kirby's going to run over there and push Bevo down. Now, all jokes aside, this is a coin flip game. I really think this is one that could go either way. UGA definitely has some question marks, but this is a classic game that Kirby wins. I don't know if Texas is all the way ready for this level of physicality. They haven't had it yet. So maybe they do, though. They played step for step with Bama last year. I'm not trying to discredit them.
I would feel better if Texas had Baxter or what's the other running back? They got hurt, too.
They got Gibson, though. They've got running backs.
They got Blue.
Somebody fumbled.
Blue.
Did somebody fumble twice?
Blue did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
that's when you thought Arch wasn't doing well in the game, and he had already had like 160 yards passing in the first quarter or whatever it was. No, that game will probably be the complete opposite of what anyone and everyone thinks. It could be a low score, it could be a high score.
Yep.
I just feel like UGA hadn't played their best game yet, and it's coming.
They played the best game against Clemson, in my opinion. But I'm actually pulling for Texas. This is my reverse jinx shit. So
UGA's played some tough teams. They've played Clemson. They've played Bama. They squeaked out a tough one, obviously, against Kentucky. I'm not trying to say Kentucky's tough, but you know what I'm saying here. Yeah. They've played some dudes already and got, obviously they lost that game at Bama and came within a cat's ass of coming back and winning that game. So,
But it's Bama, like before we close, like this college football season though is like I don't think
drunk. It's
Ohio
drunk.
State is not elite. Oregon is not elite. This is going to be weird. I can't wait. This
I
is a
think
perfect time to have a
this is,
playoff.
injuries are going to determine a lot
Yeah,
about this season. I got a good feeling.
this is a great time for the
Yeah,
12-team playoffs because I
yeah,
think somebody's just going to shock. Yeah, it's going to be weird.
it's all over the place. I mean,
Yeah,
you've got teams that we thought were going to be really good that aren't. Michigan is not very good at all. Tennessee isn't what we thought Tennessee could be. Ole
Bama's
Miss,
not
even,
Bama. I mean, you can tell the mentality of
yeah.
Nick Saban is not in that building.
yeah, they've
No.
got a different mindset over there. But I mean, just this
Damn,
is
I
a
wish we
wild
were
year.
good. This is when I wish we were at least decent.
See what I
Man.
mean? See, when we played Alabama, they were the freaking Avengers. Okay, and here we are.
Oh, I would give what I would give to have one of Dan Mullen's 10-2 teams right now.
Don't start. We're going to get people all in the comments
That's
now
why we
saying,
shouldn't have fired.
that's why
Dan
we should have
Mullen.
never fired Dan Mullen
Dan Mullen, a
anyhow.
good coach.
All right, boys and girls, man, that is going to do it for this week's episode. As always, do not use these picks to satisfy your gambling needs unless you absolutely feel it is necessary. Maybe you've got a superstition on your hands. You feel like whoever West picks, you pick the opposite, something of that nature. I don't know how it rolls.
Yeah.
I mean, DJ always ends up being 7-3 on the week or right around that average, so he's pretty safe. I don't know what I do. I'm just doing things based on what I always do. I'm steady as the mail.
That's right, baby. We're winging it.
All right, CJ, take us home, man.
Thank you guys so much for supporting us as creators.
Not take
Please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell because we're gonna be, like I said, we're here, we're stuck, we're following this football team. Maybe we're getting some of your frustrations out with the things that we're saying. I mean, I would, if it was me watching the show, I'd be like, thank you. I'm glad somebody freaking said it. So I feel like, hopefully you guys feel the same way. Check out the Facebook chat. We have a lot of great conversation in there. It's really civil. We've had multiple people tell us, hey, I've been on message boards, I've been on chat boards, I've been in Discords, and nothing to this level of just very sensible, college football talk, nothing out of the way. Even if you got a goofy take, nobody's gone, postal in there on you. So that's great. So if you're interested in that, feel free to join that over on the Facebook. Check out the Twitter sphere. Any kind of news that happens, that's worthy, we'll cover it over there. We'll drop, links to the podcast over there. I might drop a meme or two. Just enjoy us. Follow us on Twitter. We're fun follows. Me and Hirsch are constantly busting chops. So if that's something you're into, by all means, it really helps us out a lot. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Wes, take us home for the week, brother.
Yeah, we are almost like a month away from Veterans Day. That's a very good day for me. I have a bunch of veterans in my family on both sides, my mom and dad's side. So next month, if you don't mind, find a charity, give back to some of our veterans out there. We are podcast to support our troops. They do a lot, and this is time a lot of them away, and you have holidays coming up with like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and some of them can't come home. So whether it's a postcard, whether it's a letter, find some kind of charity thing and write those veterans, let them know you're thinking about them. You can find I'm gonna try to find something so next podcast that maybe you can find someone who may be not married or anything like that, don't have anyone, and just want a letter to make them feel better. So but look out for those that support us and get us right as far as keeping us safe in this country. So always supporting our troops. We thank you, and continue to support our podcast. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and we really appreciate you guys. And we are a podcast, even though we talking about somber moments. As far as the last couple years, we love the Florida Gators. We just want us to be special again. We want us to be relevant. It's a 12-team playoff. We just want to be in the conversation, and even we are 11th or we 10th and don't have a chance to win. We just want to be relevant in the conversations, and that's what it's all about. And we thank you guys for continuing to listen to us and supporting us. And as always, go Gators.
Go Gators, baby.
Gators.
Beat beat the Wildcats.
Beat Kentucky.